There was a Guatemalan family of like a middle-aged man and his wife and 4 or 5 kids, and they had Coke cans with strings on them catching bass out of Barton Creek. And they had a fire going. And now I go where I've been going for 25 years on the Greenbelt, and there's shanty towns up in the hills, and there's like Guatemalans and stuff, and there's Guatemalans right down the street from here. I mean, it's like, what is, I mean, I'm not even against these people. I'm not, but how did we like end up with Guatemalan shanty towns and people eating out of the creek? I mean, what is going on? All right, 4 cops have been shot and reportedly are fighting for their lives, along with citizens in Chicago. They're in Aurora, a suburb. We'll be following that on the War Room coming up, 3 o'clock Central, though, in Schroyer and others. I said I'd go to your calls. I'm being a bad person, not getting to them, so I'm going to go to them right now. Who's been holding the longest here? George, and then Nikki and others. George in California, you're on the air. Go ahead.
How's it going, Alex? It's good to talk to you again.
Good to talk to you.
Man, it was about time that Trump would call it a national emergency. Like, I've been talking to you about it most of the time, where we have a problem with the illegals coming in, the drugs and everything.
Yeah, this country is in an emergency.
And what I find most incredible is the fact that we also have a homeless problem, but people would rather take care of the immigrants than the people who, say, serve the country and are now homeless, trying to get food and trying to get help.
You know, that's a great point, and I appreciate your call. Matt Bracken and, of course, Stuart Rhodes, why is the homeless population, they admit, ballooning, especially in blue cities?
Well, it's just the poverty that has been caused in the cities in particular by the Democrat policies. You know, and they don't really care about those people. That's the problem. They've used them up and gotten what they want out of them, and so now their focus is on new voters. Period.
And these people don't have families. Most of the time, it's mental illness. What do you think's happening, Matt?
Well, I think that the Calizuela model is proving to be a resounding success for the Dem Sox, and they would like to see that repeated in every state. They don't care if there's needles and feces on the sidewalks, if there's homeless camps, you know, right around the corner from Rodeo Drive. As long as they're in power, they are happy to rule the ruins. So importing masses of foreign illiterates that will vote Democrat for welfare, that's what we have to expose. That's the big litmus test going forward. The people that are for open borders are for replacing Americans with welfare voters, period.
And again, we're not helping these people when we bring them here. It was about a year and a half ago. I don't get to hike a lot, but I was on Barton Creek in a wealthy area of Austin, a few miles from my house. And I've learned to recognize Central Americans versus, you know, different groups. And they were Guatemalans, and I asked, you Guatemalan? They said, yeah. There was a Guatemalan family of like a middle-aged man and his wife and 4 or 5 kids, and they had Coke cans with strings on them catching bass out of Barton Creek. And they had a fire going. And now I go where I've been going for 25 years on the Greenbelt, and there's shanty towns up in the hills, and there's like Guatemalans and stuff, and there's Guatemalans right down the street from here. I mean, it's like, what is, I mean, I'm not even against these people. I'm not, but how did we like end up with Guatemalan shanty towns and people eating out of the creek? I mean, what is going on?
Same way you ended up with Somalia being transplanted to Minneapolis.
Well, they've totally done it.
Right. So it's the same model, and it's not helping them. I mean, they've destabilized, the globalists destabilized entire regions of the world and then cause a dysphoria into the West. And that's meant to swamp the West at a greater rate than can be assimilated and kill Western civilization.
These were, I had to respect the family. I couldn't even videotape it. I was so like, they were like, you know, had the little woven hats, and they were like almost in Mayan attire. You know, it's almost like Peruvian.
Yeah, I mean.
And I was like, what? I was like, you Guatemalan? Yes, senor, we're Guatemalan. Like, you live here in the Barton Creek.
Yeah, and I have compassion for them. I really do. But we need to bring people.
But I mean, I'm going to be searched by the TSA when I fly. I'm under all this surveillance, and there's Guatemalans living in Austin on the side of the creek.
Right. They're being used as a weapon. And, you know, that's the problem, is that even the innocent ones who are coming here for a better life and actually love this country are being used as a weapon against us as well. But they're being conditioned to not assimilate along
Well, I mean,
with
it's
that.
just Twilight Zone, and they're like, oh, take your vaccines. And then meanwhile, they bring the illegals in that have the diseases. It's insane. George in California, go ahead.
Yeah. And the other point that I wanted to make is there is a good amount of people that bring a lot to the country. Don't get me wrong, because I'm not going to be a hypocrite. My parents were illegal immigrants. But they need to do what my parents did and assimilate, become citizens, learn the language, pay the taxes, and be voters and actually hear their voice out.
No, I agree. Great point, George. And that's the point is, we don't need the Democrats and the media in indoctrinating them into America hate when they get here. That's why it has to be stopped.
Well, what's happening, though, is that they're being brought here and they're being taught not to assimilate. I mean, I think it's, what's his name? Victor David Hanson has a pretty good book about this, about how he grew up in California, where the ethos was you come here and assimilate, you become Americans, like my relatives did, or my descendants or ancestors. I mean, you know, they came here and they learned the language. My mom wouldn't even teach us Spanish, and everyone served in the military, and you became Americans, and you saluted the flag and said the national anthem. Now they're being taught to fly the Mexican flag, or even worse, to fly the communist flag and to hate this country. And the left is.
But it's obvious, if you're going somewhere because you think it's better, you become that. And you add to it. You don't like.
That's how it used to be, but it's not obvious anymore. They're being told, you know, the columns on these caravans are flying the Honduran flag or the Guatemalan flag, and they're being told by the leftists that yes, you have a right to be here, as Cortez just said. You have a right to be here because it's actually indigenous people's lands. That's straight out of the Weather Underground Prairie Fire.
Straight out of victim ideology, liberation ideology.
Yeah, and that's garbage, because there were no Mexicans or anybody else that was pushed out of America after the Treaty of Guadalupe. That is a fiction. The Spanish citizens who lived in the Southwest became Americans. There's nobody from Mexico
well, let's
or
be
Guatemala
clear.
coming
Mexico
back to reclaim
begged
land.
the Scots and Irish and everybody out of Alabama and Tennessee down here because they couldn't beat the Comanche. And that's Texas. And then as soon as we wiped out the Comanche, then they moved in. They're like, well, now that you've killed the Comanche that were killing everybody, the Comanche were not nice folks. I got a little bit of Comanche in me. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not proud of it. The point is that was the real war that went on. Let's take another call here real quick. Max in Wisconsin. Max, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, Stuart. Hi, Alex. Hi, Matt. I'm huge fan, Stuart. I was wondering, I wanted to give you a little tip for the 2020 election. I think you guys can be very effective in turning blue areas red. In urban areas such as Milwaukee, Chicago, there is a huge population of African American and Slavic people who are very into the gun rights and are unaware of a gun grab occurring in front of them. For us, it's very in front of our face, but for the average TV people, it's not very
No,
apparent.
I agree. Pelosi saying, we'll use an emergency to take your guns. The House saying we have the votes to ban all semi-autos. I think we make guns the big issue because they are.
Well, certainly. I mean, it's one of the big issues. The two biggest issues that got Donald Trump elected, three.
Borders and guns.
Borders, jobs, and guns. And those are the three things people in this country care most about, and their religious freedom, too. So,
and again, it's not like we're obsessed with guns. It's like we get like, I'm a good person. I'm a free person. I have a right to have a gun.
You have a right and obligation and duty to defend your family and self-preservation, but also we understand that if we are disarmed, we'll go look at Venezuela right now. People being shot in the streets openly by the secret police. So we have a duty and obligation.
In France, they're using these exploding projectiles that are supposed to be fired at people's feet. They're blowing off hands and eyes with them. So this is in disarmed France. I mean, in the United States, the police would never do that, because there would be a different kind of return fire.
Enemiesforeigndomestic.com. Find his books there. Great job to everybody. The war room is about to start. Stuart Rhodes, you're welcome. Both of you guys to go on there if he wants to have you. I'm sure he wants to have you. In just a few minutes, about to start with Owen Schroyer. I'm out of time. I apologize to Lyle, Embry, Brad, James, Frank, Nikki, and Nick. If you call into the war room, I'm sure they'll take your call. But thank you for holding. Thank you for calling. We appreciate you, and we thank you for that. And then lastly, Big sales in this weekend for our great Nootropic Brain Force Plus and our other big special as well on Turbo Force. That's a total body energy, pre-workout, energy drink replacement beyond that. And our new protein bars that are the highest in protein bars. Normally $3 a piece, discounted $2.40. Believe me, these are like a $5, $6 protein bar for $2.40. Get them in 12 packs in vanilla, coconut, and of course chocolate and peanut butter. And they'll probably demonize that. He sells snake protein. Why, Jones sells water filters. He's a scammer. And seeds. They'll grow a plum tree or an apple tree, but they're bad. He's a bad person. We need to be funded. And it's your action, instead of buying stuff at a grocery store, buying it here, that funds our operations. So get a Don't California My USA shirt at InfoWarsStore.com today. All right, Stuart Rhodes, great having you. You're going to be co-hosting some days next week. And Matt Bracken will be doing that as well. The War Room with Owen Schroyer starts in just a few minutes at InfoWars.com/show and stations across the country. Trump has declared the emergency. It's a good first start.
For those looking for the ultimate source of energy for their day, every day, the Brain Synergy Combo is here. Combining the powerful Turbo Force and Brain Force Plus nootropic formulas, this combo has what you need to hit your maximum potential every day. Take the tasty tropical berry-flavored Turbo Force instant drink mix with you on the go or at work to help provide you with focus, clarity, and energy. And to reach your full potential, hit the next generation of advanced neural activation with the Brain Force Plus nootropic, a fan-favorite formula fueled by powerful, time-tested ingredients for a true 360 win. With this combo, you can have energy wherever you need it, at home, on the go, in the car, and more. Get pure energy on tap and take advantage of old and new InfoWars powerhouse formulas with the Brain Synergy Combo. Head to InfoWarsStore.com today